pause.
And you weren't helping me out at all.
No, I wasn't helping you.
My goodness, it was embarrassing.
So we're glad that Parker hangs out and watches Twin Cities Live. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. Yes, can we talk some men's clothing?
Are you so excited?
Parker wants us to talk men's clothing,
yes, she
right?
does.
Making custom clothing, it's somewhat of a lost art, but there's a place in Minneapolis that's managed to turn their mom and pop business into one of the largest of its kind in the country.
Emily Engberg takes us to Top Shelf.
So many of our customers remember when we were this, you know. I got married in those glasses.
For nearly 35 years, John Meegan has been living his dream.
I mean, I found when I was like 20 years old something that I was passionate and crazy about, and I dropped everything else.
It was a simple bow tie that inspired John to learn how to sew and design. And right after graduation, he opened Top Shelf, a place devoted to making some of the best in tailored suits and shirts.
Myself and the woman I started the business with, we were voted least likely to succeed by all our teachers, but we were persistent.
Today you can find Top Shelf on 31st and Lyndale. It's in an old house that is as classic as the suits that are made here. The home was built in 1901 and has been everything from a doctor's office to a funeral home.
And I like the vibe, too, when you walk in. It doesn't feel like a retail store or a shop. It feels more at home. It really does.
Well, we say it's a tailor, not retailer.
John knows that the person shopping here wants something unique, something different from everyone else. And he isn't shy about the cost of owning something from his business.
Fabrics on these walls. If you come into this room any day of the week, there's at least 600 materials to choose from on the walls.
600?
And then if we open up little books that we have laying around, you have sort of specialty fabrics that are made by fancy Italian designers.
Getting a custom shirt, for example, can run about $150 up to $300 or $400, depending on the fabric. The average cost of a custom suit is $1,600. However, Top Shelf has sold one for as much as $22,000.
It's not for the mass market. I mean, we don't have multiple locations of Top Shelves, and we have no designs on getting any bigger because this is a niche.
John says getting trained as a tailor doesn't really exist anymore. It's becoming a lost art.
My workshop is like the United Nations because if it wasn't for immigrants, there'd be no real tailors left in the United States. So we've got them from Israel, Iran, Bosnia, Russia, and most of them had at least 25 years experience.
It's that experience and the education they offer clients that John says makes Top Shelf live up to its name.
I believe there's lots of other places that are doing equally good work, but none of them have spent the time or money to inform the consumers why they are the best.
All right, and lucky for the guys out there, men's fashion trends don't change quite as much as ours. But ladies, if you are dressing your man, we've got some new spring trends to know about, and we got the guy here to help us.
Yeah, he's going to show us the looks. It's the president of Top Shelf. You recognize him. John Meegan is with us here on Twin Cities Live.
Thanks for having me.
That is a great story.
Yeah.
Wow. That place
makes me look better than I am.
You're looking pretty good, and you're dressed well every day, all the time. You have to. Do you ever just run around in sweats?
If I do, no one recognizes me.
Okay.
And I don't own sweats.
All right. All right.
All right. Well, you're going to show us some looks here, and I really like this. I'm excited about this. You get a chance to look at some men's looks here. First of all, let's talk about ties, and you say they're putting the ties of the diet for 2011.
This is the new thing, huh?
Well, it's becoming the new thing. It's actually been moving for about 4 years, and the tie that's on the far end here is the standard width that I would say 80% of Twin Cities men are wearing.
Yeah, like the one that John's wearing.
Exactly.
Too.
But there's been an evolution as you go to the other side of the table, and where I see us heading is 1964. There'll be even ties narrower than what you see here.
Wow. This is very... So does this just sort of happen like decade by decade? It just sort of shifts?
It moves so slowly. Men's fashion moves about 1 minute a year, and then one day you blink, and it's going boom to the other side, and suddenly everything you own looks tired and old. You
know, I know the first person that I saw wearing this in terms of celebrities, Justin Timberlake, a couple of years ago, was starting to go with the skinny ties, and then all of a sudden somebody started doing that. So let's take a look over here, what you can do, what we're talking about in terms of the differences in the ties.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing is you don't always have to buy new ties. One thing you can do is you can choose to have existing ties that you have narrowed.
I had no idea this was possible.
And this is something that people, after they get their first taste of skinny ties, they'll come in and they'll have a bag of ties and they'll say, can you just make the ties I have this new width? And we do a beautiful job of it. So you can preserve your favorite ties. You don't have to get rid of them right away.
You know, when you look at that look, though, compared to this, and I mean, not that the wide tie still looks great, but that does look a little bit more like modern and sharp, and you can kind of feel like that's the way things are going.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
It's something different, and it's the power of new.
Who can't wear that? Who shouldn't consider the skinnier tie?
I don't think that there's any man that can't wear it. There was times in like 1964 when all men in America wore that same width, whether you were J. Edgar Hoover or John F. Kennedy. I've seen 300-pound men put them on, and there's something about it that almost makes them look a little thinner, to not see a big wide bib draping down over their belly. So
we're going to move down the line. I love this next suit. We're going to talk about, in particular, the lapel on this suit, huh?
Well, there's only 3 lapel styles in the world, and the shawl collar is the one that is the least likely seen. But today, people like Giorgio Armani and Versace are starting to show them, and it's something that doesn't look like you're wearing it to the office. So it's an excellent choice for a good sport coat.
Nice.
And that's what we're taking a look at with the gray suit there?
No, the gray suit is actually, I kind of nicknamed that the Kobe. That was a very popular cover of GQ magazine, and Kobe Bryant was wearing it. A customer actually ripped the front off, brought it in, and said, make me a suit that looks just like Kobe's wearing.
That's what they wanted.
That's what they wanted.
And you can just do that, huh?
And that's called the peak lapel, and that's become mainstreamed. Today, men are getting very comfortable with that look.
And then the double-breasted suit, what's happening with that?
Well, double-breasteds are coming back strong, and that's really where the peak lapel migrated from. So today, double-breasteds are back, and there you have an excellent picture of one. But it's more formal, it's very dressy, it's probably for just a certain niche of guys who feel very comfortable looking like they're dressed to kill.
Ready to rock the double-breasted suit. Yeah, I think double-breasted looks great.
Well, the next thing we're going to talk about are the vests.
Yes.
And this is something that I really like. I think, though, the vests are maybe for a certain niche of a kind of guy that needs, i.e., somebody who's really fit. Right?
Yes,
LeBron James is really fit.
John,
I know
you're always bragging about the quality of your abs. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was talking about me and LeBron James.
Well, the vest adds a new look to a two-piece suit, and you don't have to always wear it. You can wear it when you want to. So it's just a great option, and a lot of people are wearing odd vests. They'll put a blue blazer on with a vest, even like a pinstripe, like you see there.
So you can do, you mix in that look that we're seeing right now, the pinstripe vest with a striped shirt as well.
Well, there I've got it with a check shirt and a striped tie, and if a person wanted, they could put a blue blazer over that and still have an awesome look.
But if you do the vest over the shirt and just to wear that to work, is that considered suity enough to wear to work?
Depends where you work.
Yeah.
You know, Minneapolis is pretty casual still.
Okay.
You were in New York and seeing a lot of vests, weren't you?
Yes, I would say 50% of the men, I was just there last week, were wearing vests, and peak lapels were very commonly seen. So the look is there, but it's probably been 25 years since vests were big.
Yeah.
So it's great to see them brought back.
By the way, that particular look you brought in today, probably my favorite of all the looks we've taken a look at. All right, the last one we see down to the end, we've got the versatile sport coat. We take a look at some celebs or some people out wearing the sport coat, and this kind of look right here, huh?
Well, a sport coat can be worn either with a dark trouser, in this case with white pant, which is an option for the garment that we brought in here today. For spring and summer, seersucker, very popular, and I'm seeing seersuckers in burgundies, in chocolate browns.
I
so
just
it's not
love
all.
this.
It's really a nice fabric, and it's cool. It says summer. There we have it teamed up with a beautiful silk knit tie. It's a fresh look also.
Younger and older gentlemen?
Sure. I mean, older gentlemen can relate to seersucker. Everybody owned one at some point in their life.
Absolutely.
They look classic. And then before we go, we want to talk about the direction of some of the shirt styles. So what are we looking at when we move forward into 2011 for shirts for guys?
Well, when I started in business in 1976, every man in America wanted a fitted shirt.
Yeah.
And today we are right back to that era. And one of the things that we used to do when we made it, and I'll just show you, it was very common. I make several thousand custom shirts a year, and in that era, every shirt we made had what are called back darts on them.
Oh, yeah.
And that way you could remove some of the pillowcase look that would come down the back, in addition to making the shape a little bit nicer. Who shouldn't wear this style are guys who have what we call jelly roll sole.
The love handles.
If you've got too much of a love handle, you don't want to be squeezing yourself in your shirt. But for the young guys that are very fit, this is a tremendous look.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
John, this is very fun.
Thanks so much for bringing these in. We appreciate that. And Top Shelf is in Uptown. We have a link to their website on our website.
Yeah, just a cool story. So cool. And support a local business. Thank you, John.
Thank you for having me.
All right, coming up in today's Dirt Alert, find out which celeb is causing quite a stir at a Louisiana deli, and some breaking dirt on a major TV star that you're not going to want to miss. That's coming up
within the last hour.
Yep.
Huh? And save 50% on an age-defying facial.